welcome everyone to season 8 of the Gravediggers here with Partizan Belgrade. We have been stuttering, I would say, since I last saw you. We are either our rivals are becoming more competitive, or we are less competitive in the league than we have been previously, possibly due to some player sales. Believe it or not, we did end up selling more players after I last saw you. There weren't necessarily sales that we wanted to do, but we were getting bids from likes of Chelsea, etc., and it just wasn't possible to keep hold of the players that we wanted to keep hold of. So we've had 2 Champions League games. We played Barcelona and we played Stuttgart, and we're going to have one today against Porto, but before that we've got the derby. Hi everyone, welcome back to Season 8 of the Gravediggers. As you can see, we're currently second, 5 points behind STONKS, who have had a brilliant start to the season. They have had a win and a draw from their Europa League games as well. And Red Star are struggling. We are playing them today, obviously in the first game of today's episode. We're away from home. Vojvodina are literally 1 point behind us, so whether there is a bit more of a improvement in competitiveness from some of these teams, but we've struggled for a little bit of fluidity. If we look at some of the games, we drew with Nice, we've lost to STONKS both times, I think 1-0, home and away. So we'll need to rectify that for when it comes to the playoff phase. We did play Barcelona away from home and we lost 1-0, which was really frustrating. And then we played Stuttgart at home and drew 1-1. Stuttgart were playing a 4-4-2 diamond, so we thought we'll play the 4-2-2-2 to start with to try and match their midfield, to sort of put like 4 forward players against their DM and their back line. And we kind of struggled for a little bit. They went 1-0 up, as you can see, in the 29th minute. At half-time, I changed it to the 4-2-3-1 and we equalised pretty much straight away. And the momentum was very much in our favour, I would say. In the second half, we just couldn't create anything of note. And then we just followed that up with a 4-1 win against Leicester. And like I said, we've got Red Star. So after Ristic left, we did finally lose De Araujo. So Lazio bid like 20-odd mil for him, which triggered the promise that we'd said we'd sell him if we got a bid of 18.5 mil for him. So considering we signed him for like 3.4 mil after his initial loan deal, I think that's a good bit of profit. And then we kept getting bids from Fiorentina for Eusebio Pereira. Now, he wasn't someone I particularly wanted to sell, really. I wasn't that keen on letting him go in some ways. And to be fair, he wasn't that bothered about making the move. But with the players I had in defence, he was kind of getting to the point where it wasn't necessarily essential. I felt that we did keep him. I was quite happy to keep him, but I wasn't like dead set on it. And again, we made 2.5 mil. He went for 17. We've signed him for, and he's 22.5 mil potential in add-ons. So good bit of business. And then German clubs just love overpaying by all accounts for Iñaki Angulo. So he was someone who wasn't really happy that he hadn't played as much as he wanted to last season. I hold my hands up, that was on me. Trying to fit him into the team was difficult. But if we look at his history, we signed him for 9.25, sold him for 19.5 mil, signed him back for 18.75, sold him for 14.5 mil. I think it actually has the potential to be higher, up to 18.25 mil. So for someone who was always going to be annoyed at us, I think it just made sense just to let him go for that money. And another player who left was Sebastian Fuentes, so we had no intention of selling him. We were open to the idea of loaning him out, but didn't really want to sell him. And then Chelsea bid for him, and he was like, nothing you can say is going to convince me to stay, so he ended up going for 9.5 mil to Chelsea. Now, this was a move I really did not want to do, and that was Haris Jovic, a good young player who didn't count as a foreign player for us as well. Basically, we offered him a new contract because he had a release clause of 5.75 mil. In the time that it took for him to accept that contract, Levante came in on deadline day, hit his release clause, and within 20 minutes he'd gone. So that was really disappointing because I really did not want to let him go. So with De Araujo going, we had a vacancy out on the right wing, and we brought back Bogdan Micetic for 5.75 mil from Hoffenheim. We sold him for like 5.5 mil to Chelsea for his release clause. He's not someone who I think we can really rely on massively. He doesn't feel comfortable playing in big matches, which is a trait I don't always like, but he does still have the potential to improve. He is still a very good all-round player to play out on that wing. So you know, for a rotation option, you know, which is kind of what he was happy to come and be, you know, happy to be a squad player, it made sense just to bring him back to add a bit of depth on that right-hand side. Also made the move to bring in Duban Bahake in on loan from Manchester United, just basically on loan for centre-half, just to provide a bit of depth. With Jovic and Preda leaving, it left us with a bit of a vacuum, trying to get someone in. And yeah, for someone like him to come in on loan, it seemed a good deal. A player we've been scouting for a while is Ezequiel Perez, and with Angulo leaving, we brought him in as his replacement. Brought him in from River Plate for $5.5 million. Young, sort of defence-minded midfielder. Tackling could be better, but he's certainly got the technique and the vision to. And you know, if that passing continues to improve, he can be an orchestrator for us. He's got really good mentals in terms of sort of reading that midfield, and his first touch is certainly going to help. And then we also just did one final bit of loan business. Someone we've also been watching for a while is Thomas Stacey. We brought him in on loan from Liverpool, another sort of defensive midfielder. Obviously, we play typically that 4-2-3-1, but we have started working back on that 4-3-3 just to give us a bit more strength and a bit more stability in certain games, a bit more conservative. What all that meant, though, is that our finances are so healthy, and even though we spent 69 mil on Dennis Simon, we still have a transfer budget of 62 million. Yeah, and the finances, club balance, almost 200 million in the bank is ridiculous. When you look at the transfer history, we still made 152 million just in that window alone. Now, the likes of Slivic and Jovic and Fuentes in particular were bids that we didn't really want. Sales we weren't particularly bothered about making, same with De Araujo, but we didn't really have much choice because the players wanted to make that move. Unfortunately, we're still at a point where our reputation isn't good enough to be able to turn down Premier League teams, and the players not get annoyed with us, even to the point where team leaders are like, you need to let them go, like, you can't hold them back, blah, blah, blah. So for the game against Red Star, we've got one eye on the Champions League game in the week, so this is what we're going to go with. Obviously, we've still got the foreign player rules, so it means like the likes of Striddy and that aren't playing. And Ezequiel Perez. Thomas Stacey had a really good game last time out against Nietzsche. He got 2 goals, so he is going to start. And I think what I will do actually is I'll do this. I'll play Mercetic out on the right and put Shresh in behind Delabasic. Delabasic is having well, let's have a look. He's having an average season, I would say, so far. He really doesn't enjoy big matches, which is really problematic, and I think I will be looking to really try and find a long-term replacement for him. Maicon is a good player. We just have the complication factor that he's Brazilian and doesn't count as domestic, which obviously Delabasic does. But the problem we're having is a lot of Serbian or eligible sort of Serbian players. The quality is just not out there. We've got Damian coming through in the dev centre, but he's just not there yet, really. He's not in a position to lead the line for us. The squad must have 2 domestic players in, 2 under-21s. Okay, Medic can come in for Alexic, that's fine. So yeah, that's just the issue we're having. Is just trying to. That's the problem I'm having with this save at the moment. Is it's becoming a little bit frustrating not being able to get the quality through. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it is just difficult to get the quality through that I want. You know, to be able to fit them into our first team. You know, if not now, but you know, imminently, and that's been the case for a while. Obviously, it's a catch-22 really. I could sign players from STONKS or Vojvodina still, but then I weaken them for when they potentially play in Europe. But equally, I can't sign too many foreign players because then we can't play them. Then we end up losing people because they're not happy, because they're not getting game time, or you know, having like morale issues within the squad because players are like unhappy they're not playing, and players are like, oh, you should play them, and if you're not going to play them, sell them, blah blah blah. So you know, generally speaking, we do have some issues there. It's quite difficult to sort of manage the squad, and Delabasic had the chance to lob him if he'd have been a bit smart. We've seen that STONKS went behind, but they pulled it back pretty much straight away against Subotica. They are all unhappy, overwhelmed by their manager's feedback. It'll be a boring 0-0 first half. Very little in the way of chances. Another source for disappointment has been that Jovic is, apart from that hat-trick he got early on in the season, he's not really done much at all. He's been really quite disappointing, which is a shame. He sort of really seems to have waned. I have been playing Mancia a little bit more when I can get him in the team. And I think we're going to do some changes now, actually. So we've made 3 subs. I didn't realise Mancia wasn't on the bench. I must have accidentally swapped him out for someone else. Like, it must have been like a glitch or something, because I didn't mean to take him out. So Maicon's come on for Dela Basic, and Perez has come in, and Bajcetic has come in as well. And this is going to be, it looks like it's going to be a very boring game. Make another change if we can. Hishek can come in for Yaron Romanchuk, and I would like to bring Walter on, but I can't really get him in. So I'm going to bring Medic in, the youngster who's got a great eye for a pass. Hopefully he can help us unlock their defence. Yeah, bit of a disappointing game, especially with, it looks like Stankom are losing as well, or they were last time I checked anyway. So that would have been a great chance to close the gap to them, and obviously, you know, while beating our rivals. But it looks like it might not work out for us unless we can create something really late on. Because of the under-21 rules, like we need to have an under-21 player in the matchday squad, it does mean that Filipovic is playing quite a lot as well, actually. And Damien Vukiewicz, I can't remember what his surname is, has had a few starts too. Yes. I think he's onside. They're going to check it for VAR, but I think he is just onside. I do think he is just onside. Yeah, it's been given. What did I say? Unless we can conjure some late magic. And it's Shresh with a brilliant cross. He is good off that wing. And it's a great delivery. And Maicon ghosts in off his defender, off the bench, and he scores. And that is why we like him. Everyone, that is why we like him. Yeah, they are losing 3-1 Stankom. So that's pretty much guaranteed, I think, there. Yes, by Shetic. Yeah, so he came in for Bahoke, who was obviously on a yellow card. And we brought Perez in for Stacey. The annoying thing is because of the way the transfers worked, because our deadline day is later than like a lot of other clubs, it means that like the Perez deal, I thought Medic was going to go all the way then, it means that the Perez deal and the Stacey deal weren't like rushed through. So it meant that they joined after deadline day, like, you know, like the traditional like European deadline day, and therefore we weren't able to register them for the Champions League, which is a real shame because they're 2 quality players who I would love to have had. But yeah, it just doesn't happen, annoyingly, because like I said, it's so sort of slow to get them done, because our deadline is like the 11th of September. And that's 2-0, and Medic gets his first goal for the club, and it's Maicon again involved, and that is the game. That is the game won. Lovely win over our rivals. Brings us within 2 points of Stankom. Vojvodina are winning, so it keeps us ahead of them and puts us 11 points clear of Red Star halfway through the season. So yeah, this is Damian Vukovic. So yeah, he's back with the Optic squad for now. The assistant just recommended putting him there just so he could get some like starting game time. So he stayed there for now. I would quite like to move him back at some point, but he'll just keep playing there for the time being. So we've got a massive game here against Porto. Like, I am a bit apprehensive because, like I said, last time they did hammer us, and so I'm not overly optimistic on our chances. We are away from home. I could be just being very defeatist, which doesn't sound like me. But yeah, they're a good team, and to the point where I am of a mind of, am I doing the right thing in keeping this as it is? You know what? I think I might play it safe and just drop Alexic back, and we'll drop our line because we kept getting done in behind last time. They are playing inside forwards, I think. They're playing Bergwijn now, I assume the one on the right is. So we'll do that for now. Like I said, we've been just repracticing a 4-3-3. I'm not 100% set on the roles, but that's kind of what we've been working on. These will change to wingers if needed. But yeah, I think we just go with this for now and see if that can do the job for us. Yeah, we'll have to see. Am I happy with that 11? Abina, Romanchuk, Hishek, Stridi, Lukic, Bajcetic, Alexic, Shresh, Mancia and Maicon. Do I want to play Bahake? No, we'll stick with Hishek for now. The other thing as well that I just got reminded in the tunnel interview was that Hishek is expecting more game time as well, so I do have to kind of stick with that. Looks like they have actually swapped and they are playing Bergwijn out on the right now. He was down to play out on the left, so maybe they're going to swap during the game. But yeah, after the draw against Stuttgart, which don't get me wrong, they're a good team, but we really need to start trying to get some wins on the board here. We've got 1 point from our first 2 games. We've got Napoli still to play. We've got Astana, which he was offside, which we will be expecting to win. But then I think we've got Milan and another tough team. Good defending. So often we've seen them fall straight at an opposition player's foot and they just tap them in. So it's nice to see that the defenders actually managed to get to that first. I can't remember who else we've got to play. Yeah, I can't remember who else we've got to play. It might even be Liverpool or someone. I feel like the last 2 games are Milan and someone else really good. That's really sloppy. Great. Oh, it went in. I couldn't really see much wrong with that. Oh, it has been disallowed. Okay, no complaints. He must have been offside. Really sloppy. Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. Really sloppy midfield play. Struggling to retain the ball there. Need to do better than that. Thankfully, we have managed to avoid Everton. Well, this is a downside better than it was last time we played them. I think we were 3-1 down at this point. Oh, I think it's Atletico. It might be Atletico we have. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swap Mancia and Shresh because we're not really getting much joy there, and I think we might shove Alexic up. I know he's a silver star, but he can do that job. He's fine. He's trained there. Poznan beating Munich 2-0. No way. Oh, come on, lads. Come on. We'll take work ball into box off and see if we can get them to start firing in some crosses for Maicon and give some service to him. Might have to take Mancia off soon. Okay, I think we will. We'll do that again and we'll put Jovic. See if Jovic can turn up and do something useful. I don't really want to take Maicon off because not yet, because I think he can still do something. Mancia does get the knockdown to Maicon. He loses the ball, but thankfully Alexic nicks in. Bajcetic plays it out to Abina. Come on, get the cross in. We get a corner out of it. I'll take that. I'll take that corner. It's going to be... Are we going to do anything with the corner? No. Great. Right, we do need to make some more subs. Right, so we've taken off Shresh. He wasn't having a bad game, but we've just brought Bajcetic on for some fresh legs. Walter's come in for Alexic. Shoke has come on for Maicon, not Delabasic. And we've still got 1 sub left to make if we want. And I might actually do that and take Abina off. The only frustrating thing with this skin is sometimes you have to click exactly on the name. Oh, I can't take him off. We made all our subs. Maybe we've made all our subs. Well, if it stays like this is a downside better than what happened last time. Oh, spoke too soon. Why did I say anything? Why? Why did I say that? As soon as I said it, they get a chance, and it looks like they've scored a perfectly legit goal. They have. Gutted. So, that's so galling to lose that so late, because I don't think we deserved that, really. yeah, then we got Napoli, Atleti, Astana, Milan, and PSG, who I forgot about. It was PSG. Believe it or not, we did actually beat them last time we played them 2-1. Different squad now, though. That was a while ago. We are better in some ways, but equally back then, we had Ristic, Faris Yusufu, of course. Look, that we had Stella Jose Mikhail, Della Basic was still playing, Yildiz, Vucic. What's Vucic doing now? He went to Betis, didn't he? And how did he do last season? He played a fair bit, to be fair to him, for the first team, didn't he? 31 appearances. He's made 4 appearances this season. How's he developed? Not much. I don't think he's ever going to be any better than he is now, but fair play to him. Yeah, our Champions League, I'm not very optimistic with these games, really not. Just need to give a special shout out, by the way, to Yaroslav Romanchuk. The 18-year-old Ukrainian is developing so nicely. So nicely. He's becoming a real sort of stalwart at the heart of our defence. Really pleased with how he's coming along. Already got 11 caps for Ukraine as well. So right, everyone, I think what's left for me to do is play some games, really. I usually bring it back around here, don't I? I might well do the same, but depending on what's happening in the Champions League, if it's not looking good, I might just bring it back sort of in the league. I'm not sure. But yeah. If it's a really exciting game in the Champions League, if it's sort of up in the air. Otherwise, if I've actually somehow managed to pull off some fluke results in these 2 home games before we go away to Astana, we might be looking pretty good. And then I might just leave it at that. But yeah, I will see you all very soon, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. Take care and bye for now.